Hi, my name is Ange, and today I'm going to share with you an analogy that will completely transform your life. Now, imagine that you're out for a walk. Perhaps you're somewhere beautiful and you're hiking somewhere, and you see these beautiful rocks around you. Now, you decide to pick one up and carry it around with you. Now, how heavy is carrying a rock? The longer you hold it, the longer you carry it, the heavier it gets, right? Now, the longer you're walking around carrying this rock, you start to identify with it. It becomes a part of you. And what happens is that through identification, you then form an attachment to that rock or that thing. Now, I'm just using the rock as a metaphor here, but this could be pain, a person, a situation, childhood conditioning, an unhealthy habit, baggage that we carry around with us. And what happens is that over time, we start to feel its weight and its negative impact, but we don't know how to let go, so we endure this heavy burden all the time. And through identification to that rock or heavy burden, you then form an attachment to it, because this is what makes you feel a certain way. It allows you to predict and control your outcome. You form an attachment to that story that you've given it, and this is what keeps us invested in that person or situation. We cling on to it or them because there's an emotional attachment to it, and this then becomes hardwired in our brain, and this is known as automatic programming. For example, if you're a perfectionist, you believe that that's who you are. You identify as being a perfectionist, and that becomes part of your personality. And so you behave in a way that makes you feel valued, that gives you that sense of self-worth and acceptance. And all this is tied in with what you achieve by being a perfectionist. And what happens is that you then give it meaning. For example, if I work all night perfecting this project, then I will feel loved. I feel like I am something. I am worth something. I'm no longer a failure. I am something, because this is you unconsciously controlling the situation or the outcome to feel a certain way, to feel a certain payoff, in this case a positive payoff, in the sense that it makes you feel valued and worthy. Or if you find it hard in letting go of a person, maybe you've come out of a relationship, or maybe there's a family member that is struggling to let go because even though you know it's not healthy having them around, or that relationship dynamic is actually toxic, but then you feel guilty for not sticking by them, or you feel like you're not being a good person by doing your duty. And you've convinced yourself that they need you or you need them. Or having them around gives you that sense of belonging, makes you feel a certain way. But this is an emotional attachment to that person, to that burden, or to that rock that you identify with. Now, before we go look at those actionable steps that you can apply to your life, let's see why it's hard to let go. Letting go means giving up a part of yourself, because we become accustomed and comfortable living in a state where we can predict and control what's going to happen, as this then validates our feelings in doing so. So getting rid of that thing results in a change in who you are. And this is where you step into that uncertainty, into the unknown. Letting go requires you to face uncertainty, but it's always uncomfortable at first. But as you get familiar in the unknown, you will then start to take your energy and attention off those burdens. You'll start to weaken your emotional and energetical bonds with those situations and people. And then you'll free up enough available energy to create a new tomorrow. This is you then bringing and calling your energy back. And this is going to take time to break those past energetical bonds, but you need to be patient with yourself. So these are some of the actionable steps that you can start applying to your life. So number 1 is to recognize if something is real or not. And when you do that, you can then start to peel back the layers of fear, judgment, anxiety, guilt, and stress, or a situation. This is you doing a deep dive, and then you can ask yourself some questions. Now, step 2 is asking yourself these questions. What is it that I want to believe or really want when I hold on to this attachment? What outcome will I expect? Will this really give me what I think I want? Is it holding me back from greater happiness? What will happen if it doesn't turn out as I expect it to be? Now, when you're answering these questions, I want you to do it from a disassociated perspective, because if you can see a situation or life in a different lens or through a different perspective, then this will change your life. And it's a tool that I've used in the last 2 years, and I've seen wonderful results. And more importantly, I've reclaimed my power, because letting go is a fundamental step in living a fulfilled life. So the key to letting go is through awareness, because when you come present in the moment of now, you get to make a different choice. So let's take the example of being a perfectionist. If that perfectionist realizes in that moment that what they're doing is actually leading to them having a burnout every time, it's not healthy, it's actually detrimental to their mental health, then they can start to disassociate themselves from that identification, the meaning that they have given things. And when you realize that it's actually a negative payoff rather than a positive payoff, then you can start to realize and become aware that this is what's keeping you stuck and stagnant. This is what's keeping you stuck in that old self, in that old programming. You let go of the meaning that you're giving to the outcome, the end result, the payoff. You can then start to shift your perspective and realize that you no longer need to fear the judgment of others or their disapproval. And when you let go, you realize that you are enough. You're worthy just as you are. Then you can raise your vibrational frequency, bring yourself to that acceptance state. Accept yourself fully and whole. Trust yourself for who you are as an individual. And then you can start to reclaim your power back. Call back that energy. 90% of transformation happens through awareness. So if you become aware of the story, you become aware of the reasoning, the meaning and the attachment to it. For example, the idea of being a perfectionist, they are that way because of childhood parental expectations, because they only felt validated through praise when they were a young age. So that becomes part of their old identity, their old programming, and that's what they then run on autopilot. But you know that when you let it go, you will feel ease, you will live a more fulfilled life. You'll be able to raise your vibrational frequency and you'll be able to then emit an electromagnetic signal out into the universe and attract like for like. And more importantly, you'll feel that inner peace and balance. In the present moment, you actively make a choice to where you want to put your energy and attention so that you can disinvest your energy out of the past that used to define you and instead shift and create a new you, a new identity. When you can get out of your mind and into your heart, you open yourself up to so many possibilities. That's when you start heading towards your new self. That's when you trust and consciously let go of the rock. And that's when you feel lighter, you'll feel free, and you'll reconnect with your higher self and reclaim your power. And then in that moment of the unknown, that's when you can then create and attract your ideal life. We just need to believe in ourselves and trust in the flow of life. And let go of those fixed ideas, those stories, that attachment, that old energy, and instead trust in the unknown and embrace that new self, that new energy that is waiting there for us to tap into. So I hope you found value in today's video. Please let me know in the comments below. And please like and subscribe and share this with others who need to hear this message. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Much love. Namaste.